Good evening, class. It's me again, Bernadette. I hope you are enjoying the first. You enjoyed the first video, and this is the second video for today. You're going to learn herbs that clear heat and dry dampness. That is the second part of the video, and you're going to learn 6 herbs in this category. Herbs in this category clear heat, dry dampness. In general, are bitter, cold, and dry in nature. They are actually rather bitter and rather cold because of the bitterness and coldness, and they're extremely drying. This category of herbs who clear away heat, purge fire, and eliminate toxins. They are mainly used for heat syndrome. Let's review the function of the bitter taste herb. What does bitter taste do? In the very first lesson when we learned herbs, we mentioned that different taste herb and food has different functions in the body. Bitter taste can drain, which means it can purge and also lower. It is often very dry, but because of the lowering and purging function, it can clear away heat toxin or fire heat, especially good for constipation. Because of the coldness and the purging, draining action, sometimes it is used to treat emotional disorder, particularly when there's a lot of heat rising up to the torso, to the brain, and the person feel that a lot of irritation and schizophrenic and some craziness. We use cold herb in this case and lowering herb to descend the heat energy, the excess energy downward. Also that we also use this category of herb to drain the heat in the lung and also to stop cough because of the reversal of the lung qi by using the lowering properties. And lastly, this category of herbs is commonly used to drain damp heat or to treat damp cold syndrome. In this case, it can be related to pain, or it can be related to dysentery or diarrhea. The general indications of using that clear heat and dry dampness herbs are to drain damp heat. It is used for acute febrile disease due to summer heat or summer heat dampness. We use it also to treat stomach or spleen stagnation problem due to dampness and heat accumulation, and also stagnant of this energy in the chest area, causing fullness. In case it is in the large intestine, we use these herbs to drain damp heat that cause diarrhea and dysentery. If the dampness heat is in the liver or gallbladder area, then the person may have damp heat jaundice. And in case that it is in urinary bladder or in the lower burner area, we also call it lower jiao, then the person may suffer from leukorrhea and Heat Lian syndrome, which is dysuria, painful urination, and also that person may also suffer from B syndrome, which is pain caused by heat and dampness. And for example, in the Western medicine, it corresponds to arthritis. And sometimes also the damp heat in the lower part of the body can cause eczema in the lower part of the body. Now, a word of precaution. Because this category of herbs is really bitter and cold, so they can easily injure spleen and stomach. Due to its dry nature, this category of herbs can also consume yin, excessive use is not recommended. Let's look at the general signs and symptoms. This category of herbs in general to treat large intestine damp heat, which cause burning diarrhea, dysentery, hemorrhoid, and also the liver and gallbladder damp heat for jaundice, hypochondriac fullness, which is the pain or fullness sensation on the flank area, on the side of the ribs, and also bitter taste in the mouth. Also that this category of herbs can treat the lower jiao dampness, which cause burning and pain during urination, as I mentioned earlier, genital itchiness, yellow turbid vaginal discharge. There are other manifestations this category of herbs can also treat. For example, eczema, abscess, swelling, ear infection, and suppurative diseases. There are contraindications for these herbs. Because this category of herbs is extremely cold, bitter, and drying, we normally do not use it for people that has spleen or stomach deficiency cold problem that come with diarrhea. And also if the person has yin fluid deficiency, we'll try not to use these herbs. We are going to look at the first 3 herbs in your summary table. The first 3 herbs is also called the 3 yellow. So the 3 yellows refers to 3 herbs: Huang Qin, Scotalia root, Huang Lian, Coptis, and Huang Bai, philodendron bark. All these 3 herbs have common characteristic. They are all yellow color, they are all bitter and cold, they all drain fire and resolve toxicity, and they also treat dysentery and stop bleeding. And depends on which area of the body has problems. One of these herbs, Huang Qin, Huang Lian, Huang Bai, will be chosen to combine with other heat-clearing herbs to treat excess heat problem. Among these 3 herbs, Huang Qin is especially used to treat problems in the upper burner, or we call it upper jiao area. It is especially useful for lung and heart heat. Huang Lian is especially used to treat problems in the middle burner area for the heart and stomach fire. Huang Bai is especially used to treat problems in the lower burner area, and we call it lower jiao damp heat. First, we are going to look at the herb Huang Qin. Huang Qin, as you can see, is yellow color. It is bitter and cold. It looks very drying. It enters 4 meridians: lung, stomach, large intestine, and gallbladder. Huang Qin is especially used for the upper jiao, upper burner heat, lung and heart heat. First, it treats the damp heat, and then it also treats the summer heat dampness with chest oppression, nausea, and it also treats damp heat obstructing the center with fullness sensation. Okay, in Chinese medicine we call this Pi, which means fullness but with no pain. It's just uncomfortable. It feels full, uncomfortable, but it's no pain. And it's also stop vomiting and jaundice. Huang Qin is also used to treat lower burner problems such as heat Lin syndrome. We also call it heat strangury, or in Western term is dysuria. We also use it to stop diarrhea and dysentery. The main use of Huang Qin is actually for upper burner. It used to treat lung heat cough due to lung heat, and it is also used to stop the fever from the febrile disease. We call it Yang Ming level or Qi level heat with irritation and agitation. We use Huang Qin also to alleviate swelling, lesions that is basically like open sores, ulcerations, and sores that are caused by toxic heat. We also combine Huang Qin with Tai Hu to treat Shaoyang syndrome, the half exterior, half interior syndrome that characterized by alternating chills and fever. We use Huang Qin to clear blood level heat to cool blood and stop bleeding. When it is used, we normally chart it, and it can stop hematemesis, which is vomiting blood, epistaxis, which is nose bleeding, hematochexia, which is bloody stool, and metrorrhagia and metrostasis, which is flooding and spotting, or flooding and trickling syndrome in Chinese medicine term. And in Chinese pinyin, we call it Beng Lou. B-E-N-G-L-O-U. Huang Qin has a very special properties that you have to remember. We use it to clear heat to calm the fetus, to treat the restless fetus syndrome caused by heat. And as mentioned before, that Huang Qin actually combined with Tai Hu to treat Shaoyang syndrome. We also use Huang Qin to sedate ascending liver yang rising problem. There's a combination of Huang Qin that we need to remember. We use Huang Qin very cold and drying properties to descend and bitterness to descend. So it is ideal to combine with purging herb Da Huang. You're going to be learning this in the next 2 weeks. The chief herb to use in this case, and plus Huang Qin, the combination we call it mutual assistance. This combination is used to purge downward, and that is the person that has nausea, vomiting problem, and stagnation problem in the stomach. Let's review the terminology mutual assistance that you learned 2 weeks ago. What that means is that you combine 2 or more herbs with very similar but different properties. In this case, Huang Qin is in the clear heat, dry damp category. Da Huang is in the purging category. You use similar herb property, which is draining, descending, but they come from 2 different category of herbs. So using that, one herb become a chief. In this case, Da Huang become the chief because you want the actual action is to go downward, to move everything downward. Da Huang has a really strong purging properties. And the other herb as an assistant, which is Huang Qin. It is like mutual employment. So a boss hire an assistant. In this case, Da Huang is the boss and Huang Qin is the assistant. What is the contraindication for Huang Qin? So Huang Qin, as I mentioned, that it is cold, bitter, and drying. So it is contraindicated in case of the lung heat due to deficiency. So that deficiency lung heat that can cause heat, but because it's deficient, you do not want to use it. And it is also cold diarrhea or cold in the middle jiao, that is like from stomach and deficiency excess cold, and also that restless fetus syndrome is due to cold in the lower jiao or cold in the blood, that you do not want to use Huang Qin. Now, let's move on to the next herb, Huang Lian. Huang Lian is the deeper yellow color, and as you can see, Huang Lian is extremely bitter. So it is cold and bitter. Huang Lian is actually enter heart, stomach, and liver and large intestine channels. It is especially used to treat middle burner heat, which is the heart and stomach fire. We normally use about 1.5 to 4.5 grams of Huang Lian. Okay, if it is raw herb. In case that we're going to use powder, we'll use even less. We use 0.6 gram to 1.5 grams. Please pay attention to the dosage. The dosage here is important. We use this herb to clear the large intestine damp heat in case of diarrhea and dysentery. We also use this herb to clear the liver fire in case the liver fire invades the stomach, which can cause vomiting, acid regurgitation, and bitter taste in the mouth. We also use this herb to stop stomach fire vomiting. So you see that there's a lot of properties that we focus in the stomach area in the middle jiao. And also that we use this herb to calm the heart fire in case of so much heat in the chest area, causing irritability, insomnia, mouth and tongue sores. And Huang Lian is also can clear nutritive and blood level heat. So it is used to treat warm febrile disease with fever, worse at night, is irritable, the person become irritable and restless. Even so that they may have a loss of consciousness and delirium. Because Huang Lian is really focused on clearing heat in the core, in the middle jiao, middle burner, and we use it to clear, and at the same time, it actually clear heat in the large intestine area and the liver. So it covers the entire 3 burners. So we use it to clear san jiao heat, which is triple burner heat. We clear fire toxicity with high fever and irritability. It can be used also for sores and abscesses. In case to clear blood level heat, Huang Lian can use to stop bleeding, clear heat and stop bleeding. Topically, you can use it to for arthritis pain due to damp heat or heat toxin. It is extremely effective. And paired with Dan Cao, you just learned earlier, Huang Lian can clear heat in the pericardium level. It can calm, purge the high fever, and that which cause coma and delirium. Now for contraindications, because Huang Lian is extremely cold and bitter and dry, so you do not want to use it in case of yin deficiency. So why is it yin deficiency has heat you cannot use it? Because yin deficiency implying that your fluid are also deficient. Huang Lian is extremely cold and drying. So dry can actually cause the fluid deplete even further. So it causes yin deficiency worse. Also, if the stomach has a deficiency cold that cause nausea and vomiting, when the patient is given Huang Lian, that person actually can vomit. Why is it so? When the middle jiao has cold, energy is stagnant and cold actually congeal. Everything stop, fluid accumulate. When the person ingests bitter taste food and cold, the body has a urgent rescue remedy, which is to get rid of it through vomiting. So that is why that you do not want to give the person Huang Lian, and which may actually end up inducing vomiting. And also that if the person has deficiency cold in the spleen or the kidney area causing diarrhea, if you give the person Huang Lian, then because of the coldness, kidney dominate two yins, urethra and also the anus. So in this case that you damage the kidney cannot dominate the two yins, and then the person can have diarrhea problem even further. Also, we do not use Huang Lian really lightly because Huang Lian is extremely cold. It can injure spleen and stomach. So prolonged use can cause further deficiency problem in the yin and stomach, and impede digestion and cause a lot of weakness and other problems such as swelling and edema, and other than just indigestion problem. Let's look at the third yellow, which is Huang Bai. Huang Bai is a lighter yellow, as you can see in the picture. And Huang Bai, although it looks, well, it's not really yellow color, but it's still very bitter. It's rather bitter, not as bitter as Huang Lian. Of all these three herbs, the most bitter herb is Huang Lian. So Huang Bai is used particularly for lower Bernadette heat problem. It is bitter and cold like the other herb. It enters mainly the lower jiao, so it go to the kidney, urinary bladder, and large intestine channels. Huang Bai is not as cold, so we use the normal dosage between 5 and 10 grams. Huang Bai also has a name called Huang Bo. Both names are interchangeable. Huang Bai is especially good for lower jiao dampness, so we use it to treat vaginal discharge problem. Normally the discharge will be has sticky yellow color or come with itchiness. And also that Huang Bai is used to treat heat Lin syndrome. We also call heat strangury, or in Western term is called dysuria. And we also use it to treat lick qi problem, beriberi, and dysentery and jaundice. In case of heat toxins in the body, we also use Huang Bai to treat different type of sores, skin problem like sores, abscesses, clove sores, eczema, and damp sores. In case of deficiency heat, now this is something different compared to the other two herbs. Huang Bai can clear excess heat, but also treat deficiency heat. This is very special. You need to pay attention to it. So with deficiency heat, that person will have night fever. Actually, fever more obvious at night, or heat sensation at night. The person may have night sweat, or in case it is a man, he may have seminal emission problem. To direct this herb to go to the kidney to treat this problem, we normally mix Bernadette with brine and salty water. One of the key to remember this herb is also that it treats painful swollen knees with heat. Okay, so because it go to the lower jiao, lower part of the body, it also clears the yin deficiency heat. So it is ideal for pain problem like arthritis on the back, on the lower back, and legs, and and knees area. In Chinese medicine terms, we call it, we use it to treat B syndrome or B pain. Contraindications for Huang Bai. Just like other herbs, if the person has deficiency in the spleen area, then even with or without diarrhea, you need to be really cautious not to use this herb, because this herb particularly go to a lower burner, so which is the large intestine area. It can aggravate the problem, causing even more severe diarrhea for that person. Now let's look at the next herb. This is the fourth herb we are learning tonight. It is called Dan Cao. Dan Cao, when you look at that, it doesn't look much, yellow color, but it is actually really brownish, and well, you can say it is really concentrated yellow. Long Dan Cao is extremely bitter, okay, and it's very cold as well. Long Dan Cao mainly go to liver gallbladder channel. It also go to stomach and large intestine channels. When you use it raw, basically what that means is that use the herb untreated, unprocessed, and you just cook it normally, and you also use it for oral consumption, can clear damp heat jaundice, which is in the liver. And it also can go to the lower jaw or burner area to clear damp heat. And so it can treat swelling problem or itchiness problem of the genitals. It can stop vaginal discharge, itching, and reddish urine, which is like in the Western term is a UTI, urinary tract infection. We use Long Dan Cao in Chinese medicine quite often to drain or pacify excessive liver and gallbladder fire. When we do that, we normally process Long Dan Cao with yellow wine, just rice wine. And it is particularly useful in this case to treat flank pain in the hypochondria area and distension. And also that we use it to treat the liver fire that causing headache, red eyes, and bitter taste in the mouth. Now, with extreme liver fire, it can actually generate internal wind, so with high fever and convulsion. So we use Long Dan Cao to stop that liver fire problem, so that it can stop the spasms in the extremities, convulsion, and high fever. When applied externally, we can actually use it as a wash, so or in a powder form for people who has vaginitis, area that has fungal infection, and which is related to damp heat. Because Long Dan Cao is extremely bitter and cold, so it is actually very good for damp heat jaundice, which affect the liver. So it's basically the liver fire or liver gallbladder damp heat causing jaundice. And it is particularly good for bitter taste in the mouth, red eyes, high fever, and convulsion. Now, a lot of students actually got it wrong, okay, to use Long Dan Cao too lightly. When a person has damp heat, there is a really big indication in the tongue. And with heat, saliva, it becomes really concentrated. Because of the concentration, it's becoming thick yellow. So it coated on the tongue. If the person doesn't have that yellow coating on the tongue, then that person has syndrome actually more dominant than what you think is damp heat. So in this case, you do not want to use Long Dan Cao if you don't see the yellow color coating on the tongue. You will try to find out what's causing the problem, like the person still complaining bitterness on in the mouth and red eyes and fever sensation at night. Okay. With the contraindications for Long Dan Cao is just like any other herbs. In case that person has spleen and stomach deficiency with diarrhea, you do not want to use Long Dan Cao because it's actually go to lower burner area, so it can aggravate the symptoms. Now let's look at the fifth herb. Is called Ku Shen. Ku is meaning bitter. Shen is a special herb. So Ku Shen is bitter and cold, okay, and it enters urinary bladder, heart, liver, large intestine, small intestine, and stomach. Ku Shen is particularly useful for skin itchiness problem. It treats the lower burner damp heat for diarrhea, dysentery, And it go to the lower burner to treat the large intestine damp heat, bloody stool or bleeding, hemorrhoids. And it also go to the liver gallbladder to treat the damp heat causing jaundice. And it resolve the toxins. That is the main use, okay? These 2 bullet points. It resolve toxins that cause sores and carbuncle, and also abscesses due to heat toxins. And because Ku Shen can disperse wind. Now, this wind is actually external wind, okay? Unlike Long Dan Cao, that clear the wind, which is internal wind, due to extreme liver fire. Ku Shen purged wind. This is external wind that cause itchiness in the skin. It can kill parasites and stop itchiness. It is primarily for the lower part of the body, for vaginal itchiness, eczemas, scab, lichen when applied as a powder or decoct as a wash. Also, because Ku Shen go to a urinary bladder channel, so it can actually clear urinary bladder damp heat, and it can help promote urination. The modern applications for Ku Shen is basically for bacterial infection. So for women has vaginal trichomoniasis and skin itchiness. Children have impetigo, scabies, and leprosy. A lot of this is actually bacterial infections. Then Ku Shen can be used quite effectively. Can apply on the skin and also ingest internally. Because Ku Shen is extremely bitter and cold, and especially specifically for draining damp heat from the lower burner, that is with the similar effect like Huang Bai and Long Dan Cao, and also with similar effects like Huang Lian. It can clear heat and alleviate dysentery. What are the indications of Ku Shen? Just like any other herbs, Ku Shen is really bitter and cold. So if the person has spleen or stomach deficiency cold, you do not want to use Ku Shen really lightly. And also you should not use it for injection. And also one thing very important that you need to know, there's incompatibility issues with Ku Shen, okay? So if you prescribe Li Lu or you use Ku Shen, you do not want to use the other herb, Li Lu, okay? Ku Shen and Li Lu are incompatible, and they can create a massive toxicity problem, okay? Now, earlier I mentioned about Long Dan Cao and Ku Shen. So they both are extremely cold and bitter. So they both can be used to treat genital itchiness and jaundice. Long Dan Cao is to pacify the internal wind generated by the liver fire. On the other hand, Ku Shen is used to expel external wind for the skin itchiness due to bacterial infections. The last herb we're going to look at is called Qin Pi. Qin Pi, okay? Qin Pi is the bark of the tree. And Qin Pi is bitter. Unlike the other herb, it has astringent properties, astringent. So because Qin Pi can clear the liver heat, it can clear the depressed heat in the liver channel to brighten the eyes. It is especially useful for eye pain or swelling eye. But also that very particular use of Qin Pi is to treat cataract. Modern terms we call it cataract. In the old days we call it eye nebula or eye screen. So for this reason, Qin Pi can be decocted to use as an eye wash or made into pills, for internal use. The contraindication for Qin Pi is the dysentery with the spleen and stomach qi deficiency. If the person has the deficiency in the spleen and stomach, not able to digest, then fluid accumulate in the middle burner, then can cause diarrhea, and Qin Pi can change it into dysentery and or diarrhea problem. So that's the end of this lecture, and I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you a week after and in the class, and we will do another review before we have a quiz. So have a good night.